A knock echoes through the centuries, not on a door, but on memory itself. A bearded man in red laughs somewhere between myth and a shopping mall, between a sacred ritual and chimney soot. Everyone thinks they know Santa Claus, but the truth is far stranger, older, and more dramatic than a sack of toys could ever hold. Long before reindeer took flight, a real child once shivered in the ancient city of Patara, in what is now Turkey. His name was Nicholas, born in the 3rd century. Nicholas inherited a fortune at a time when poverty was brutal and public shame could destroy entire families. Legend tells us that when Nicholas learned of a father so poor, he planned to sell his daughters. Nicholas crept out at night and tossed bags of gold through the family's window, sometimes said to land in stockings left out to dry. It was charity done in secret, generosity wrapped in mystery. The seed of Santa Claus had been planted, and it was quietly revolutionary. Nicholas became a bishop, and not a quiet one. Stories paint him as fierce in his compassion and unyielding in his sense of justice. One tale claims he slapped a heretic at the Council of Nicaea. Another says he rescued sailors from a deadly storm by sheer force of prayer. Whether these stories were embroidered by time or grounded in truth, they spread like wildfire. After his death, Nicholas became a saint. And not just any saint, he became the patron of children, sailors, prisoners, and the forgotten. People prayed to him when hope was thin, and they remembered him not as a distant holy man, but as someone who showed up when it mattered most. As Christianity spread across Europe, so did the stories of Saint Nicholas. In medieval villages, he would arrive each year on December 6th. Children left out shoes or wooden clogs, hoping he would fill them with treats. The good were rewarded, but the naughty, well, sometimes Nicholas was accompanied by darker figures, beasts, and demons, meant to scare children into behaving. Long before Santa was jolly, he was judgmental. Then came the Dutch when they settled in the New World. They brought their beloved Santa Claus with them. The name slurred over time in English-speaking mouths until it became something new, Santa Claus. But early America didn't quite know what to do with him. He appeared in newspapers as a stern old man. In some depictions, he wore blue or brown. In others, he smoked a long clay pipe. He wasn't yet the Santa we recognize. He was a ghost of European tradition, trying to find his place in a rapidly changing world. That place was found in 1823 with a poem that changed everything. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Those opening words didn't just describe a holiday evening. They rewired an entire myth. The poem, officially titled A Visit from St. Nicholas, introduced a Santa who was cheerful, plump, and irresistibly human. He didn't arrive on a bishop's horse. He flew in a sleigh pulled by 8 named reindeer. He didn't judge from afar. He laughed, winked, and filled stockings with delight. He came not on December 6th, but on Christmas Eve. And just like that, Santa moved into the very heart of Christmas itself. Still, Santa's face wasn't settled. That came from ink and imagination. In the late 1800s, illustrator Thomas Nast began drawing Santa for Harper's Weekly magazine. Nast gave him a round belly, a flowing white beard, and a home at the North Pole. He also gave Santa a workshop, a list of who's been naughty or nice, and an army of elves. Nast's Santa wasn't just a visitor, he was an institution. He was the CEO of Christmas. But the iconic red suit, that came much later. In the 1930s, a struggling company wanted to sell more of its soda during the winter months. Coca-Cola commissioned artist Haddon Sundblom to reimagine Santa for their holiday advertisements. Sundblom's Santa was warm, friendly, grandfatherly, and unmistakably dressed in red and white. The images were everywhere: magazines, billboards, store windows. The world absorbed the Santa. Without even realizing it was being sold a drink, myth met marketing, and marketing won. And yet, something remarkable happened. Despite being shaped by advertising, this Santa didn't feel fake. He felt familiar, comforting, real in the way stories become real when enough people believe in them. Santa became less about doctrine and more about emotion, the feeling of waking up to something magical, of giving without expecting anything in return. Across cultures, Santa absorbed local traditions. In Britain, he blended with the old figure of Father Christmas, who represented feasting and generosity. In Scandinavia, he merged with ancient winter spirits. In modern times, he travels by different names, different outfits, and different rules, but the core remains the same. He arrives when the nights are longest. He brings light. He reminds people to be kinder than they have to be. Of course, there's the question every child asks eventually. Is Santa real? The answer depends on what we mean by real. Nicholas of Myra was real. His kindness was real. The families he helped were real. The hope he inspired was real. The rest, the sleigh, the reindeer, the laughter echoing down the chimney, those are symbols. But symbols are powerful things. They carry ideas much farther than facts ever could. Santa Claus is a story that survived plagues, wars, religious upheaval, and the rise and fall of empires. He crossed oceans, languages, and centuries. He evolved because people needed him to. In a harsh medieval winter, he was protection. In a young, developing nation, he was a link to tradition. In a commercial age, he became joy wrapped in bright paper. And maybe that's the final twist in Santa's long, strange history. He didn't start as a fantasy. He started as a real person who gave what he could, quietly, in the dark, hoping to make someone else's life a little brighter. Everything that came after the myths, the magic, the red suit is just the world trying to remember the feeling. So when the night comes again, echoing through time, it isn't asking you to believe in flying reindeer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories behind the myths we think we know.